Beautiful. Sup, fuckers?
Hi.
Hi.
How the hell are you guys?
Out fucking standing.
I'm better now that I had some whiskey.
Yeah. It's a good
Definitely helps.
shot for the morning sesh.
Yeah, I mean, I was already feeling a little haggard, and then after a little bit of whiskey, I'm feeling quite a bit better.
Loosen
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Much more social.
Yeah.
Yeah, after yesterday, about like 7 o'clock last night, I was feeling pretty hungover. So I had to have a big breakfast this morning. So I didn't eat yesterday before we started.
Me neither. And in hindsight, huge fucking mistake.
Yeah.
Because even when we did D&D the other day, I was like, I gotta have some like eggs and toast in the morning, and it was good. And then we had lunch, and it was like, okay, everything's evened out. But yeah, yesterday I was already kind of feeling like I was running a little behind. So I was like, oh, I should stop and grab us some breakfast, and then I didn't, and now I regret it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't eat today, so hopefully all's well.
Well, if you want to stop and eat, I got some food up there. I made some Loco Moco stuff.
Nice.
Loco Moco.
Loco Moco. Nice.
So today we're going to talk about our favorite series. So
Series.
TV series, whatever,
Movie series.
movies. Well, I kind of want to leave movie series out of it because it's easy to just talk about franchise movies and overshadow TV.
Yeah.
But throw into that YouTube series and anything on any streaming platform, things like that.
Yeah.
Notice I didn't make any notes because I was like, fuck that, I'm winging it.
Yeah.
I was kind of the same way. I was like, I don't even...
What are you guys watching right now?
Right now, so I'm watching the Star Wars series all over again. So the movies, the shows, in like chronological order. I've watched the movie several times, but I was talking to my brother the other day, and he's like bringing out all these facts and stuff about Star Wars. I was like, how the fuck do you know that? Like, I was like completely just mind blown. It was all news to me. So I'm watching it all over again. I've never watched the like cartoon series. It's all just like the movies and like Mandalorian and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The newer stuff, but as far as like Clone Wars, like that animated series, I never watched that. So I'm currently watching that right now. Chronological order, you watch the first and second movies. So Phantom Menace and then Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Those two movies, and then you watch the
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, like the movie, the animated movie, and then the series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the middle of the series right now. I've been kind of grinding that out the past couple of days. Been sitting at home, not really doing a whole lot.
Studying. It's called studying.
Yeah,
Studying,
it's
dude.
for science.
You got to get up on the level of your brother, dude, because I'll throw down on some nerd shit with Star Wars.
Like, this Clone Wars series is like really kind of blown me away. There's all sorts of stuff in there that it's like it kind of adds on to the movies that you wouldn't really know otherwise.
Yeah.
So
Adding
that's
to
what
the
I'm
lore.
watching. Yeah, that's what I'm watching right now.
There's so much mythos with Star Wars that I think people are just like, oh, yeah, I've seen the movies. Like, nah, dude, you don't get it. All the good meat and potato stuff is actually, like, in the shows.
Yeah.
Like, the movies are good, whatever. I mean, the last set of movies were fucking dog shit, but
Yeah, they're
that's just my opinion.
I could agree. I mean, compared to the older movies, sure. I think they have they're good in their own respect, but they're not like the old movies.
They just, like, all the canon that's set up with the different series and everything, they just, like, I don't give a fuck about that. And I hate that. So, now that you're watching these Star Wars shows and getting more into it, the big question still stands. Are you going to get a lightsaber so we can duel?
Dude, I do. I want one bad.
I'll film
So
the
I
whole
was-
thing.
I was looking at like those super expensive ones.
The NeoPixels?
Yeah, and the I can't remember what their website's called, but I was looking at super expensive ones, and like most of them aren't really meant for dueling. They're just kind of like a showpiece.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
for $500-$600 you
really
get a
want
fucking
that.
something that hangs on the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, dude. Like the ones I got for me and my daughter, they were like $100 a piece, and most of the time, like if you actually wait until early May, and get it on May the 4th, Star Wars Day,
Oh, they go on
you'll
sale,
get a fat
huh?
deal.
Nice.
When you touch them together, does it make the sound?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have all kinds of electronic modifiers in them, so you can change color, you can change sound profile, you can make them pulse, they can be solid state. And then they have like presets too, so if you want to do like a Yoda's lightsaber or Kylo Ren's like pulsating red, it's all preset in there too.
Nice.
Yeah. Everybody needs to get a lightsaber. Because
I'm
my
down,
two
dude.
homies that have them, Scott and Yeg, are kind of bitches, and they never want to duel.
Imagine if we were doing like a ghost hunt, and then we just have lightsabers. That's our lights, our personal lights.
So when we do this upcoming ghost hunt, I'm going to be there in a full Ghostbusters kit with a lightsaber.
Fucking lightsaber, dude.
Oh shit! I forgot about that. I need to get a flight suit too.
I almost got mine the other day. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to wait.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of that. I mean, I've seen some of the Clone Wars and some of the shows that they did, like on Disney Plus, but haven't taken a deep dive down the Star Wars hole.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm currently watching Shogun and 3 Body Project or 3 Body.
Yeg was texting me about that yesterday.
It's pretty out there. It's pretty mind twisting. I think. I enjoy it.
What's the like genre? Like, what's it about?
It's about like aliens and these physicists or these scientists that are trying to figure out what is going on. But it has a lot to do with like multiverse stuff and like CERN
Nice. Okay.
stuff. So it's a lot of the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all kind of wrapped into that. So
That's cool.
It's entertaining.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it sounds like a show that's 75% of this show.
Kind of, yeah.
Pretty much what we're into. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. I've been rewatching Dual Survival. Something about that show, dude. I just get hooked into it, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it, because it's like, you know how it ends. You like the whole show has its own tropes and everything, but you just sit there like an idiot. You're just like, oh my god, he's actually going to start a fire.
Yeah, I have to admit I do watch a lot of those survivalist shows. But I kind of like shows like The Last Alaskans or Life Below Zero,
Yeah.
where they're actually living in these remote places and just living off the land and surviving off of their wits and capabilities.
Yeah.
But
It kind of motivates you to like want to get out and do stuff like that.
yeah, I was
I
watching
don't
it
know
one
about
day.
freezing your balls off doing it, but you know.
I was watching it one day and I was like, my tree outside could use a trim, so I went out there and cut branches off, dead branches off, and cut them all into little pieces so we could have camp, like firewood for the backyard. Felt like I was living my dreams.
You were roughing it.
I'm a fucking man.
And I went back inside and made some macaroni and cheese.
Please tell me you were wearing like a flannel when you did it.
It was too hot
Big
outside.
old axe.
You kicked in the door when you came back in. You were like, what?
Actually, I used the Sawzall.
It's like that scene from Anchorman. Kick open the door. I've traveled 800 miles to deliver my seed.
Threw a rabbit on the table.
So with that said, what's like one of your all-time favorite series?
I might get a lot of hate for this, alright? A lot of people, like...
You piece of
It's
shit.
kind of like a love or hate thing.
Oh wait, he didn't say it yet. Sorry. I'll wait.
I love The Office.
Piece of shit.
Love The Office. It's a show that I've seen... I'm on my 7th or 8th time watching it through now.
The American one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've actually never watched the other one. I feel like I'm failing at that aspect, but... You know, the American one. It's a show that I can just throw on in the background, and like I've seen it so many times that I know exactly what's going on just by what they're saying. Like, and it's a good background show. A lot of times I'll sit there and actually like watch it, but If I'm cleaning the house, if I'm doing dishes, whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows that just goes on in the background if I'm sleeping, whatever. Love The Office.
Yeah, I've watched The Office probably at least 3 times through.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the Office, Parks and Rec. Did you ever watch The Last Man on Earth?
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny series. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if you've ever seen that.
That one is good.
Yeah. All of those are like, when they're on Netflix or if they're on Hulu or whatever, my kids will put them on and just go through the whole, and they'll just be on in the background while everybody else is doing stuff. But I like all those comedy, sitcom series like that, especially the ones that have like 5 or 6 seasons where you can sit down and watch for a few hours and just zone out.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I was never a big fan of The Office.
That's fine.
I've caught a few episodes here and there, and I've had some moments where I laughed out loud, but for the most part, like I can't just sit and watch it.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec is fucking great, though.
Yeah.
I love Parks and Rec.
90% of that is because of Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
He's fucking hilarious. Yeah, my like go-to background noise show is still Family Guy.
I love Family Guy, dude.
And it's like, I haven't watched the last few seasons. I actually haven't been watching it like much at all for a while, but that's still one of my go-to. Like, I'll turn it on and I'm just like enamored with the show.
Oh, yeah.
Or if it's just on in the background, like you said, doing dishes or cleaning the house or whatever, and then you hear one of those jokes pop off that you've always laughed at, and you're like,
fuck yeah.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I gotta throw out one of my other favorite shows, Sons of Anarchy.
That's a good show.
I bet I've watched Sons probably 5 or 6 times all the way through.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know what it is.
I think I've watched maybe 2 episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never watched it like consistently. One of my friends that I served with, I was at her house all the time, just hanging out. Like all of our like group of friends, everything was there all the time, and that show was always on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I've never watched it like on my own in a row. Right? It's always just episodes here and there at her house, but it's a fucking awesome show, man.
Dude, it's one of those shows that like, I try to treat it as a background noise show, but like I'll put it on and then I find myself, oh shit, I just wasted 9 hours of my day watching this fucking show.
It is one of those shows, man. It's kind of good.
Like, I had other plans, but I guess I'm just going to watch Sons all day.
Yeah. I feel like I was that way with Breaking Bad when it, first ended. Rewatching the series and going through and just binging it. Yeah. Again, after you can actually sit and watch the whole thing without waiting for the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only watched, like I said, I think I've seen 2 episodes of that. Good show, I just always forget about it. And
yeah.
Yeah, it's one that if you're going to try to sit down and watch it, just carve out some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to be like, I have to know what fucking happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's funny is the whole series format, because coming from that kind of 80s, 90s, early 2000s era when you had to actually wait week to week to watch your show and then wait for your seasons, it seemed like for a while we were getting completely away from that. It was like when these streaming services would just dump a show, it's like the whole season 1 or whatever all at once, and you'd sit there and binge the whole thing and be like, I guess I gotta wait 9 more months for the next season, But now we're getting back to that week to week thing, and I hate it.
I do too.
I don't know. I think I feel like I appreciate it more, like watching it, and then when you get left on a cliffhanger, you're like, "Fuck, I want to watch the next episode," and then you're like hungry for it, I guess.
Gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be more inclined to be okay with that format if we didn't do this mid-season break bullshit. I hate that so much.
Yeah. I have a really big problem with, so the shows that are just, all the seasons are there, I have a really big problem with just binging it. And I get so fucking obsessed with this show, and I have to watch it completely through. And then it ends. and I don't know what to do with my life.
You're
I'm
like, I feel
dude,
lost.
I just lost a big part of me. Like, I
It's like
don't know what to do.
sitting out on a swing looking at the tree or something.
You're like the meme of that Pablo Escobar meme when he's like standing inside the pool,
Yeah.
sitting on the swing.
Yeah.
Definitely post series is a thing, like post series depression.
Post series partum.
Yeah.
Gotta learn how to live your life again without that show. You're like, fuck, I don't know what to do with myself.
But it's nicer though when you have all of it there. It's where you can do it all at once. You're like, 3-day weekend, I'm going to binge this whole fucking series.
Yep.
Rather than like having to wait week to week and just having that like,
Yeah.
when's that next fucking episode? It's only Tuesday.
It's like Yellowstone. I kind of cranked that out, got really obsessed with it, big into it, and then now I have to wait till November for this new season to come out, and I'm just like, I don't know what to fucking do with myself, man.
Did you watch the other, like 1923?
Not yet. No,
Okay.
It's on my list, but yeah, 'cause that goes through like the it's like before Yellowstone, right? Kind of like the like origins of the family and all that.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So what's that first one? Is it 1887 or
It's something like that.
the one with Tim McGraw?
Yeah, it's something like that.
I remember being like super hopped for it. Have you watched Yellowstone? Okay. Yellowstone is legit worth it.
I
Highly
keep
recommend.
hearing about it, and Sackett was telling me years ago that I needed to start watching it, but it was like, I don't have Paramount Plus, and I don't want to fucking get another streaming service, so I'm kind of waiting for it to.
I think I actually watched it on Peacock.
Yeah, it is on
yeah.
Peacock.
Yeah.
You just don't get like the newest episodes, even though we haven't had a new episode in like a year.
Well, there's how many? There's like 5 or 6 seasons, isn't there?
I think they're on
I
5.
think it was on 5, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the mid-season break of 5, and they're pulling a full Game of Thrones, and with all the problems with the production and everybody's legal issues and shit, it's literally been like a year,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. But it is a really good show, and what's funny is on rewatching it, like it's really not written super well.
It's not.
And there's a lot of problem of the week bullshit that goes on, just like with most TV series.
Yeah.
But what makes that show so good is the characters and their acting.
Yeah.
Because you get Kevin Costner, who's doing like his best Batman impression the whole time. Yeah, I'm not wrong.
That's a good way to describe
But
it. Yeah.
he's so fucking entertaining. And then when they do the, I think the actor's name is Josh Lucas, when he's young John Dutton.
Yeah.
And he's doing his best Kevin Costner impression, doing an impression of Batman.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, I buy that's young Kevin Costner. Even though I knew what Kevin Costner was like when he was young, I buy it.
Yeah.
Because he's got this like perfect shtick, and then you have like Beth, who's just this way over the top super cunt.
Yeah.
But it's hard to watch, hard to not watch, because you're just like, fucking go, girl.
You know, it's kind of hard to not like fall in love with her, because you're like,
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of a bitch, but like, I kind of get where you're coming from. You know,
it's
I
her
fucking-
loyalty that really sells it.
I fucking hated her at first, you know, and I was, as I watched the show, I was like, I actually kind of agree with what she's, you know, where she's coming from. Like, I understand why you're a bitch. I get it.
Yeah.
Now I kind of like,
You look forward to seeing her, you know. And,
it's like
and it's kind of the same with like Rip.
yeah.
You know, he's literally the same character all the way through. He never changes, but that's what you love about him.
I love Rip. Honestly, he's my favorite character of the show. Just because he's you know, kind of like the leader of the pack or whatever. Like he's in charge of, I guess, the crew. You know, he has his job that he has to do, and you kind of look at some of his actions like, yeah, that's kind of a dick thing to do, man. But
Morally questionable.
yeah, it's like, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, I love him because of he doesn't change. He's the same character the whole time. He sticks to his roots. He's the same guy. He doesn't have, I don't know, he doesn't change.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're kind of a dick at times, but I understand where you're coming from. You have a job. You have this position that you're supposed to hold. Like, you've been in the family since you were, you know, a teenager. You got brought in. You have to, he had to kind of prove himself. And now he's, you know, like the leader of the pack or whatever. And there's some like old dogs there that have been there a long time, but he's the leader, which you're like, well, why isn't, I can't remember the fuck his name is.
Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Like, well, why isn't Lloyd the leader, like, in charge of everybody? It's like, well, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome in that show. Yeah. So since I mentioned it earlier, Game of Thrones. Did you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
So, I've never watched it, like, fully, you know. I've seen bits and pieces. When I was in tech school, my bunkmate watched it. And he had his desk, like, at the foot of my bed. So I'd be chilling in bed watching YouTube or something, and I look over, I'm like, oh shit, titties. Nice. You know?
What are you watching?
I'd watch it bits and pieces with him, but I never really got into it. If there was titties on the screen, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm invested. But that's one show that I really want to, like, actually get into. Everybody fucking talks about it, dude. Everyone's seen it. I'm like, I should really get on the bandwagon and watch this show. The titties are just a bonus, alright?
Yeah, bonus. I thought it was really good up until the last season, and they just kind of rushed into ending it, which was, I don't know. With as much, like, talk about the White Walkers and stuff like that there wasn't really... I didn't feel like there was enough that of the, you know, them fighting the White Walkers to be justified in the show. Like,
especially that episode where they actually had the battle for Winterfell, and it was against the whole army of White Walkers, and you couldn't see fucking shit.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching it in my old house, downstairs in the basement, all the lights are off, and I literally had to turn up the contrast on the TV because it was so dark that I couldn't see shit. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
That was one of those I didn't buy into until, like, the last season started coming out, and same with you. It was kind of like, all right, I need to buy in. Everybody is fucking talking about this, and that's all they're talking about. So, like, over a long change, I basically watched the whole series and got caught up, because there's not a ton of episodes or a ton of seasons. There's, like, 8 seasons?
Yeah, but I think they're only like 8 episodes.
Yeah, some of them are 6, some are 8. Yeah. I think 1 or 2 of them have 10, but you could clean it out in just a few days. But yeah, the ending, I think everybody hated it, and I was like, this show has literally spent 8 seasons subverting all of your expectations. Everything that you were, like, totally surprised by, they just put in the last season.
Yeah.
We just wanted a better ending. But you weren't going to get it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you wanted certain characters to live through the whole series, and they just, like, get randomly killed off.
Yeah. Like the first couple episodes, you're like, okay, this movie is about this guy, and then all of a sudden he dies. Oh, so this series is about this person. No, they're dead.
Yep.
Oh, wait, is this series about this person?
I love the way they do it sometimes unceremoniously. It's just completely random.
Yeah.
It's like episode 6, it's not even like a mid-season finale or anything like that. It's just, hey, out of random, we're gonna kill this fucking guy that you love.
Well, it's kind of like The Walking Dead. You knew if they started showing a character arc, that person was dying.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's a thing that they're doing now, is just giving switching your expectations from, like, you know what's going on, to just, like,
JK,
chaos.
motherfucker.
Yeah. Maybe that's a new series trope.
Speaking of The Walking Dead, how many seasons did you get before you fell off? Before you were like, fuck this show, I'm done.
So, when I was watching it, I got up till Negan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just not really a fan. My wife still watches it. I think they're actually done making it now, if I remember
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
So the actual Walking Dead is over.
Yeah.
Those 12
and
seasons.
They have, like, spin-offs.
So now
and
they
stuff.
have spin-offs. Yeah.
So I know that she watched it completely through, and now she's watching spin-offs and stuff. But I'll watch it if she's watching it. I won't be turning it on myself, though. I don't want to get too involved in it.
Yeah.
So I watched it like every Sunday or whatever it came out for probably 4 or 5 years, and then kind of stopped watching it, and then picked it back up maybe like a year and a half ago, and just watched the rest of all the seasons. So I liked all of them. I know that a lot of people fell off when all the stuff happened with Negan. But yeah, like, if you keep watching the series or the seasons after that, I feel like the villains that pop up after that get even crazier than Negan was. So I mean,
so for me, like, why I kind of stopped watching and stopped being invested in it, it's like one of those shows. It's like every day, or like every week or whatever, there's a new problem, a new group they have to fight off, whatever. And it's like, it just kind of gets old. You know, you watch this show and like, okay, cool, they finally defeated this person, they're finally doing good, and then boom, another person. It's like, all right, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't stay invested in it. It's just, it's always a new problem after a problem after a problem. Like, all right, dude.
I know I fell off where I thought the Negan arc should have ended, because I had a huge problem with the way they rounded that part of the story out. Because like when Negan came out, I was like, oh shit, The Walking Dead is back, like in a big way. The moment where he killed Glenn and what's his face, the fucking red-haired guy,
Fuck.
the sergeant guy. Or
yeah, when he fucking bashed their skulls in, at that moment I was like, I am fully reinvested in this show. And I watched that whole season, and it went through and blah blah blah, and I think it was like another season later or something, they drug that arc out way too long.
Yeah.
But then it was like Eugene manufactured all the bullets to backfire all the guns, and then Rick was like, we're gonna imprison Negan. Like, no, you fucking beat his head in with a bat.
Yeah.
Look what he did to your friends.
Yeah.
Like, at that moment I was like, I'm done, I can't watch this shit anymore. We spent years with Rick and watching him go more progressively savage and more like hardcore and just murking people, you know, for the shit of it at some points. And then all of a sudden he's a fucking teddy bear and he's like, no, we gotta follow the law. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
He literally murdered 2 of your friends in front of you, in front of your kids. Like, and you're gonna let him live? Fuck that.
So now they're like, the spin-offs are like, they're broken down into like groups of people. And so it's like, one of the shows is what's his name? Daryl and Carol. It's like, it's called something Dixon. They're off on their own doing adventures, and then one of them is Negan and the hot chick, whatever.
Maggie.
Maggie, yeah. Are in like New York or something like that. Yeah. And then Michonne and Rick are off somewhere else. Because Rick... So in the series, you think Rick dies, but it doesn't really show his death. He kind of like is going to die, and then you think he's dead, but then it shows like a helicopter flying off. And then so he's off the series for the last like season and a half or 2 seasons. But it kind of hints that he might be still alive. And then now there's a spin-off of Michonne going to search for Rick, and then I guess finding him somewhere.
Yeah, pass. I'm sorry. I put a lot of years into that show, and it just got like worse and worse. And but I also think that a lot of shows should end around 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah,
like even the best shows.
Well, it is interesting. I've seen some episodes where they're like in the city. So they're actually back to fighting zombies, because they're like in New York City in the subway tunnels fighting hordes and hordes of zombies. So it kind of goes back to like how the show started, where you're getting swarmed by zombies, like old school zombie movies.
Oh, so they went in the direction they should have gone in like season 5.
Yeah.
Take it back to zombies.
Yeah.
It's kind of reminds me of another show that went way too long, Dexter.
Aren't they rebooting that?
They did another season
a
couple of years ago or something like that, and it was basically after the show had ended. It takes place like 10 years later or something like that.
Yeah, that's another show that I've seen just bits and pieces of. Never fully watched it.
I highly recommend it, but stop at the end of season 4. Like, you finish season 4, just don't watch anything else.
Same thing where it's just like a new villain every couple episodes. It's like a new villain, but then there's like an arcing villain throughout the whole season, usually.
And there's an inordinate amount of serial killers in fucking Miami.
In Florida, yeah.
I guess the
Florida
humidity.
man, dude. Florida man.
It's the humidity just makes them all fucking crazy.
Yeah. I could see that.
No, I think that's what I really liked about those first 4 seasons is that so 2 of the seasons I couldn't even tell you who the main villain is, but I remember the episodes were good, but the villain from the first and 4th season were by far and away the best.
So that like what is the first season, like the ice cream truck guy?
Yeah.
Then,
It's just like an ice truck, I think.
Yeah. And then John Lithgow, is that the
That's
season
number 4.
Yeah.
Trinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show. Up until season 5, and then it's just like, why? You could have just left it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole time was like, fuck, man, this bitch is annoying, dude.
The sister.
Yeah. But
that was one where I think the writers hated the actress because of after season 4, it was like they would throw her character these weird ass curveballs, like suddenly she's promoted to captain, or now she has a severe drinking problem that she had like no sense of beforehand, or now she's in love with her brother. I think the writers were just like, how the fuck do we get her to quit? Oh, she's in love with her brother.
Well, I mean, the way that they twisted that around on their family was just like, okay, they're all fucking psychos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get that there was a lot of... Yeah, it was just... I don't know. There was a lot going on, man. If you got that many problems, just be a serial killer like your brother.
Yeah. In fact, I thought that's where that show was going to go there for a minute, and it didn't. And it was like huge missed opportunity.
Speaking of murders and murderers, have you guys watched Only Murders in the Building?
Is that the one with... is it Steve Martin?
Yeah. Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes.
Selena Gomez.
Never seen it.
It's pretty good. I like it. This is the last season. So there's 3 seasons now. Is it 3? Yeah, 3 seasons, and this last one has like Paul Rudd and Meryl Streep in it.
You sold me on Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. It's about like these people that live in this building, and there's a murder that happens in the building, and so they're like trying to find who is the murderer in the building, but they're doing a podcast about it. So it's like a murder mystery podcast, but with fucking legendary actors, comedians, Martin Short and Steve Martin. It's pretty good. I like it.
Weren't they in a couple of movies together?
Three Amigos.
Yeah.
I think they've been in quite a few movies together.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of... I know that there's at least one more. That is... Anyway. Dude, my favorite Martin Short movie, side note, Captain Ron.
Is that because he's in it or Kurt Russell?
Well, that's Kurt Russell's movie, but he, like the way he plays kind of a bumbling suburban dad compared to Kurt Russell's Captain Ron is just pure gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a show that kind of took me by surprise, and I thought I would fucking hate it, but I loved it, was Schitt's Creek.
Oh, yeah.
Creek.
Ew, David.
So, my wife would always watch it, and then, like, I'd just walk in and she'd be watching it, and then I would get hooked and sit there and watch, like, as many episodes as was on that season or whatever. But yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, that was... So a lot of the shows I ended up watching, I watched because, like, my ex would start them, and then I'd just be like, I'm not interested in playing on my phone or whatever. Next thing you know, I'm, like, balls deep into the show, and I just can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
And that was one of them, where I was like, this show looks so dumb. And then like 10 minutes into it, I was just hooked.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny, dude? It's like you walk into your wife watching the show, you're like, oh, this is fucking stupid, and then they start watching it without you, like, what the fuck, man?
Right?
Why are you watching that without me?
Wait a minute. Who's this person? Isn't that her husband?
Yeah.
Start asking all the questions, like, shut up, just fucking watch the show.
Yeah.
One of those for me was Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a fan of anything that kind of genre. I'm not really into like animated shit. But she was watching that show and I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. And I sat there and just started watching. And then I got invested. And then she started watching shows, like watching that without me. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like,
Really?
Whoa, whoa,
you know,
whoa,
watch that
whoa.
without me. What the fuck? Yo, restart it. Come on.
You're talking about the actual animated one, or the,
Yeah,
the
the
one they
actual
just put
animated one.
out?
So I actually just finished watching the live action one.
Yeah,
Dude,
I thought it
I
was
fucking
good.
recommend
I
that shit.
saw you watching it in the break room
that
the other
shit's
day, and I like caught myself kind of staring over your shoulder at your tablet, and I was like, shit, I should really watch that. That
It's
looks good.
actually
Yeah.
it's actually pretty good.
I was after watching the movie, which was fucking dumb, terrible.
Yeah.
I saw that on Netflix and I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. When I had a bunch of kids over here, like my nephews and stuff, and so I put that on just because to be in the background while all the kids were here and stuff, and so they left and I was just like glued to the TV.
And the whole time they're here, you're like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to watch your
Can
show.
you guys fucking go outside or something?
Try to watch that.
I don't care if it's 10 degrees outside. Go.
No, yeah, I watched it. I think I watched it all in 1 day or 2 days.
Dude, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to check it out. Pretty much everybody in my building is like fans of anime and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exception of me and Preston, but even like the older people who work in the building, like Scott, you know, he's not old, but he's older than most of the other guys.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, you gotta watch fucking Avatar. I was like, okay, maybe one day I'm gonna give into peer pressure and just be like, all right, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's pretty
Definitely.
good.
Definitely.
It's like, as far as being as like not really my genre of shit, it's a good fucking show. I highly recommend it.
I'm gonna have to watch it now that you recommended it. Fuck you, other guys.
It's pretty good.
Let's talk about some weird shows that maybe we don't talk about enough. Game shows.
Game shows?
Yeah, what's your favorite game show? That smile on your face is gold.
Fuck. Yeah, I'll take one of those.
Fuck it, I will too.
Maybe Jeopardy,
I love Jeopardy.
just because it's like a quiz. And I'm old now, so like, I don't know. I feel like I know answers and shit.
Yeah.
You ever watch Jeopardy and like you'll have an episode and you're just like nailing every single answer? Like, dude, I could have made so much money, and then you watch another episode and you don't get anything. You're like,
Purple.
I'm so fucking stupid.
See, I think if I was actually on that show, having to answer those questions would be like, I would be completely stupid. Everything would leave my brain and be like, fuck. But if I'm sitting on the couch watching, I'm like, you're fucking stupid. That's an easy answer.
It's a muskrat, you idiot.
What are you fucking?
It's a fucking
Put it there
platypus.
for
What do you?
fucking Jeopardy.
That's some good shit, dude.
That's smoky.
Smoky. It's weird because I fucking hate Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
It's got peated whiskey in it. That's what Scotch has. That's what makes like Scotch kind of that like smoky kind of flavor. I fucking hate Scotch. But this shit, it's got whiskey and Scotch and peated whiskey and stuff in there blended. So like looking at the label, I'd be like, yeah, fuck no, I'm not gonna like that, dude. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I remember trying it at T's wedding because he had his ceremony at High West Distillery,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember I fucking hated that.
Yeah,
Now that my taste has changed, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm definitely more of a bourbon guy.
Same.
So you get that kind of like smoky, like oak flavor anyway. So this is just like a super smoked whiskey, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
more-
Scotch is fucking gross.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
There's
of
only a few alcohols I actually hate, and Scotch is like number one.
Yeah, unless you like the taste of Band-Aids.
I think it tastes like throw up. Like legit, after you throw up and you have that aftertaste, that's what
Gotcha.
Scotch tastes like to me.
I think my number one that I absolutely despise is tequila. I
fucking love
cannot drink tequila. My dad's always
Sissy
trying
would
me
be
to.
so ashamed of
I
you
know.
right now.
You guys always get tequila shots when we go out, and I'm just like, fuck no, dude. But my dad, he likes margaritas, so he's always trying to get me to fucking get margaritas and shit with him. I'm like, no, because it's just fucking fruit flavored tequila. I don't.
Yeah.
Anything you put tequila in, dude, it just tastes like tequila. Can't do it. I don't like agave.
I like certain tequilas. I cannot fucking stand Jose Cuervo
Dude, same.
at all.
Once you've had good tequila, shitty tequila is so much worse.
Yeah.
See, like I wouldn't even be willing to try the good shit because I'd be like, yeah, it's tequila.
So we went to Mexico on a cruise just this past December, and Ensenada, if you can call that
That's
Mexico.
America Light.
Yeah, Mexico Light. But we went on a whiskey. Went to this thing and did like a whiskey taste, or tequila tasting. And got like fucking. So we went to this class and they taught us how to make like Mexican food and shit. And then
That's cool.
the whole time they were just refilling our glasses with margarita. Like I think I had like 10 margaritas.
Damn.
In like an hour and a half. And straight from there, they bust us over to this distillery where they were making tequila. And they sat us down and had us try like 7 or 8 different tequilas, like all just like from the bottom to the top shelf. And but yeah, we had like 7 shots of tequila in like 10 minutes. That was so fucked up. But yeah, after that, I was like, yeah, I don't think I like tequila.
They get you fucked up so you want to spend some money. That's what
Yeah,
it is, dude.
exactly.
It's like casinos. They give you free alcohol, so you
Yeah.
lose that moral, like, I gotta...
Your inhibitions
All
are
your
gone.
inhibitions
Yeah.
are gone.
So
I need a fucking rainbow colored fucking poncho.
dude, you selling umbrellas? I gotta have one.
What's the biggest sombrero that you have?
So, shows, series. Here's a classic one from childhood that you probably remember. You might not, because you're a youngin'. America's Funniest Videos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you watch that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I think it's still on.
probably. I haven't
Probably
seen
with Wayne Brady as the host.
it. Dude, Wayne Brady is actually a funny guy.
Yeah.
Even all the stories you hear about him being a fucking prick, probably true. But he's still hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, Whose Line Is It Anyway? That show was gold.
Yeah. I thought he was hilarious in the Chappelle show.
Oh,
When he
yeah.
did skits with Wayne Brady.
When he's always just like playing this super gangster douche
Yeah.
type guy, but he just like plays it so well, and he's like the whitest black dude in the world.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's I loved Whose Line Is It Anyway? And then it kind of got stale after a while because it was just like the same 8 comedians, improv guys coming through, but it was still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that America's Funniest Home Videos at my grandparents' house. They would throw that
yeah?
on, and we'd just have a good time watching it.
Yeah.
There's some funny shit on there, dude.
Do I remember Sunday nights? So it would be like The Simpsons would come on, and then Funniest Home Videos, and then In Living Color, like right after.
Oh my god, In Living Color.
Yeah. Which was like our Sunday night, end of the weekend, that we rounded out with watching these 3 shows. Like the whole family would sit down and watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 Simpsons is a fucking great series.
Oh, yeah.
In Living Color, I don't know how many seasons they had. Probably only 3 or 4.
It wasn't a lot,
Yeah.
but that show was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And all the careers that it launched, like, you know, everybody talks about sketch comedy shows where like Saturday Night Live is the gold standard, which to me is like maybe number 8 because Saturday Night Live is just not that funny.
No.
But
Oh,
in Living Color, definitely like tied for the top 3.
Yeah. Fucking Jim Carrey, all the Wayans brothers.
Yeah.
fucking Jennifer Lopez.
Which, if she wants to disappear now, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
She's obnoxious. I keep seeing this, like, video float around of her. She's, like, sitting on a gym bench and her hair's all tousled. She's like, this reminds me of when I was 16 running through the Bronx. Like, dude, nobody gives a fuck. Just go away. You don't do your own music. You're a shitty actress. You're not that good looking. Just go away.
That booty dough.
Could be. I don't know. Bitches had more stones than fucking Thanos, though.
You got a whole gauntlet.
You think about it, she's been married like, what, 5 or 6 times or some shit?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Fuck.
She married to Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, Puff Daddy, which is in the news.
Was she really married to him?
I believe so, yeah.
Huh.
She married that one backup
Mark
dancer,
Anthony.
Mark Anthony.
Fuck.
I'm pretty sure there's one more. Anyway. Yeah, she's terrible. What's another really good show? Sorry, I went totally blank there for a second. I was just trying to, like, wash all the Jennifer Lopez out of my brain. That just, like, took everything with it.
Have you guys seen NCIS?
Yes.
The one with Gibbs and...
Yeah, so I gotta admit, the only reason I watched that show was because I had a massive crush on Cody DePablo. She plays David.
Yep. David.
Oh, God, she is so gorgeous.
Oh, my hell, dude.
I think I've seen the show. Is she like a...
She's the...
She was like an ex-Israeli Mossad operator.
Yeah.
Oh.
And joined NCIS, even though she's like from South America. She plays in Israel.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yep, whatever.
She's nice to look at.
Yeah. No, I think she brought a lot to the show. I was really fucking sad when she left.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big fan of the new seasons. I'm okay. The show's been out long enough. I don't give a fuck about spoilers. All right.
Yeah.
It's been out a long time. Fucking Gibbs leaves, who is like, who made the fucking show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know, like him as like an actor, Mark Harmon himself, I guess, is kind of an asshole. Has caused some problems with the cast and stuff like that. But him as Gibbs, all right. I don't give a fuck about the actor. Him as Gibbs made the fucking show, and he left. They did not do him fucking justice. Have you seen the newer?
No. I stopped watching when Cody DePablo left.
Yeah. Well, Gibbs anyway. They go on this like trip, like work business trip, whatever bullshit, to Alaska, and then Gibbs just fucking stays there, leaves McGee, and so it was him and McGee there. McGee gets back on the bush plane and fucking leaves, and Gibbs like, yeah, I'm just staying. They're fly fishing at the end, which I was like, fucking nice. 'Cause
Cool.
I'm big into fly fishing, but yeah,
What?
Gibbs,
I had no idea.
I know. Gibbs just doesn't get back on the plane. He just stays there fishing that river they're on, and they just like as big of a character as Gibbs was, they completely just fucked him out of his goodbye. And I think it was the writer's way of just saying, yeah, fuck Mark Harmon. We don't want anything to do with him anymore because he's a fucking asshole. He's causing problems or whatever. So we're just going to give him this short, like, yeah, goodbye, whatever. He's leaving. As much of a like impact he made on that show, he deserved a much greater goodbye. That's whatever. That's my opinion. Whatever. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the new seasons because they have a new fucking boss. It's fuck, I can't remember his name. Anyways, he was an FBI guy, joined fucking NCIS because he got fired for fucking bailing Gibbs out, whatever, not arresting him, whatever. He's cool, whatever. He's not Gibbs.
Yeah, I can't help but think about that Family Guy bit about Mark Harmon, where it was one of the earlier episodes where Peter and Lois are arguing about if Joe is actually like cool or not, and Peter's arguing because Joe can't be cool because he's in a wheelchair. And he has the greatest argument ever. He holds up a picture. He's like, Lois, who is this? And she's like, Mark Harmon. He's like, the greatest actor who ever lived, Mark Harmon. Do you see a wheelchair under him? So I can't even hear Mark Harmon's name without going, the greatest actor who ever lived, Mark Harmon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Did
so
you
silly.
see the series? I guess if you stopped it with when fucking Ziva left, fucking Bishop came. All right, she's the blonde chickie.
Yeah.
She's a fucking goddess, dude. She is like up there on my fucking laminated list. All right, she is fucking gorgeous. All right, and then again, they just kind of gave her like this quick goodbye, like, oh yeah, she's leaving, whatever. Join the fucking spies or whatever bullshit. Same thing, fucking Ziva, dude. Whatever. She was fucking hot. I was really pissed off when she left. I was really sad to see her go. And now I can't really get into the show because of all these people that I like fucking fell in love with, all these characters. I'm just like, oh, these people are fucking awesome. They're all gone now.
Yeah.
McGee is still there, but everyone else is fucking gone. Like, fucking Tony, dude. That one really fucking hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Tony left before Ziva did. Or no, sorry, after Ziva did.
Mm-hmm.
Tony was my favorite fucking character. I feel like I kind of like resonated with him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Tony left, and then after that is really when the show just fucking went downhill.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you really love a band, but the singer and the lead guitarist leave, and then they replace them with other people, and you're like, that's just rename the band.
It's not
like
the fucking same.
3 Days Grace, when Adam Gontier and the guitar player left, like, just change the fucking name. You're not 3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
Not without those two guys.
Yeah.
That actually kind of reminds me of another show. What is it called? Criminal Minds.
Yep.
When they would start kind of swapping people in and out, and they had the same problem with the guy who played what's his name? I haven't watched it in like a couple of years now, but he was like the main investigator, the leader of the team, and then when they kicked him off the show because he's apparently an asshole in real life, and then they just started like plug and play people, and then Shamar Moore left and went and did his own thing, and it was redeemable for a minute when they brought in Jennifer Love Hewitt, and then it just got annoying. But it used to be a really good show.
Yeah. I'm like shows like that have gone on for a long time. You know, like the actors, they do get kind of, they want something new. They
Yeah.
want to go expand their career. Cause like, yeah, Mark Harmon's been on fucking NCIS forever. He probably wants to go off and do other things. Like, dude, I've been doing this for fucking years.
Plus, he's like 70.
He's fucking, he's up there, man. He's like, yes, let me retire. Let me fucking hang out with my family, you know. Same thing with Criminal Minds. Like, they've been there for a long time. I don't know if it was like the production team or whatever that fired them, or they chose to leave, whatever. They've been doing it a long time. They're probably fucking sick of it. They're like, let me go do something else. I've been doing this for a long time.
If you imagine, like, fuck, man.
That's the way we feel about our normal jobs too.
Yeah, if you got like a chance to have like a stable paying gig or whatever, you have to work at like a 9-to-5 job or whatever. On the other side is like something you can go do, like film a movie and get a big lump sum of money and only have to work for 3 months out of the year. I think that I'd be probably, but it's not a guaranteed thing.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's why you see a lot of like actors as they get older turn to something like a series and try to ride it out like that and just get paid a solid paycheck for.
Well, and a lot of the, like, TV series have kind of a blanket schedule too. Like, some of them, they have to hurry up and jam this filming in 3 months, and they have to film like 10 episodes in 3 months, so they have these long 12, 14, 16-hour days where they have to film. But some of these shows like NCIS or even Criminal Minds, like, it's kind of a 9-to-5 schedule.
Yeah.
And they do it for, a few months, and they crank out fucking 30 episodes a season or whatever it is, some astronomical number. Mm-hmm. But they do it so diligently that they don't have to work real hard at it, you know?
Yeah.
But it also kind of reminds me of what you were just saying with, like, trying to do a movie to kind of break out of that TV thing is George Clooney. So he was doing ER, like, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend, he would go film Batman and Robin because he was trying to get away from TV and get into movies. Ha! Joke's on you. That movie sucked.
That movie did suck.
It's actually, I still watch it from time to time just because of how fucking entertaining it is. Because it's like, it's one of those so bad it's good movies.
Yeah. I mean, it was really cartoony, but I mean, at the time, like, the Batman cartoons were pretty big. And so, even if you look back at, like, fucking the original Batman series that was on TV with Adam West was so campy and cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that they're trying to draw a parallel in between, that world, but I think that with all the success of the other Batman movies that are darker and have like a more serious tone, seems like that's the way that
was really all they had left to do.
Yeah.
I mean, for that particular series that was already kind of running out of steam anyway, it was like, let's just try this rapid change and just see what happens. And it failed really hard. But it's funny you mention Batman the Animated Series, because that's still to this day one of my absolute favorite series to watch, because it kind of put Batman into a like more popular point of view.
Mm-hmm.
By making some of the episodes really serious, and some of them were really dark, and then others were a little bit more on the light side, a little bit more lighthearted and fun. But it really showed like depth of character for this superhero that we had kind of grown up as only being one or two dimensional, but instead they gave this character layers.
Right.
And even as a kid, I was like, wow, like he's a much more complex person than you thought, because you thought, oh, he's Bruce Wayne, and then he puts on the costume and he's Batman.
Yeah.
Versus in that show, it really showed a full arc as a person,
Right.
Yeah.
So one series we haven't talked about is one of my favorite series.
Magnum PI.
Two of them.
Oh, sorry.
Spencer for Hire, actually. Letterkenny and Shoresy.
Yes.
I've not actually watched Shoresy, but I fucking love Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Letterkenny's fucking good. I haven't watched Shoresy either.
You guys?
No, dude, it's on my fucking list. I've talked to several people about it. They're like, dude, watch Shoresy.
If you like Letterkenny, Shoresy, I think, is way better.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
That's
Well, shit, I have to watch it now.
that's a tough act to follow.
Yeah. So it's like the same dialogue, but it's more of like a linear thing.
Oh.
Whereas Letterkenny's like just random.
Yeah.
Shoresy kind of has like a goal through the series, and so it's more. I feel like you get more like drawn into the story, or drawn into the more invested into the story, because there's actual storyline throughout. But yeah, fucking hilarious. If you guys haven't seen it out there, Letterkenny is. I mean, I can't go throughout the day without quoting something from Letterkenny or Shoresy.
There's so many fucking.
Okay.
There's so many one-liners that like are just pure fucking gold.
Yeah.
Quote them all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's why I've really adopted the word bud
Yeah.
from Letterkenny.
Oh, yeah.
Like, made out of spare parts, there, aren't you, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You're
reckon
10
if
fly
you
by.
if you had ever been in a real fight, you wouldn't be so keen to start another one. That's a great show. Fucking mine went blank again. That was cool. There was a comedy show. I legitimately was like, on my way here, I have to bring that one up. Now I can't think of it. It's got to be the whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Must be the whiskey.
Or the dehydration makes your brain fucking. Crack one of these open.
Yeah, dude, nail it.
I'm just gonna take shots of this water.
That's what we need to do for Yag, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Just shots of water.
Yeg, we're drinking vodka. Everybody else gets vodka except for Yeg.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Is it? Here, pour me a shot.
Well, need a shot there.
Tastes like Fresca, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot like Presca, but without all the sugar.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. I've never seen that one before.
Yeah, I stopped at the gas station. I was like, I need fucking caffeine so bad. but I also need some water. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try those. And the can is cool as fuck.
Yeah. Liquid Death is really good, but it's so fucking expensive for no reason.
Yeah, for literally no reason.
It's...
I didn't know what it was. Like, when I first started seeing, I thought it was an energy drink.
That's what I thought for a while, but funnily enough, anytime you see a TikTok clip of a podcast, they're drinking fucking Liquid Death. And that was
really?
completely unplanned. It was worth it, though.
Are those podcasts getting paid?
Yeah.
So I got the money for the Liquid Death. That's what it is, man. It's like, fuck, I gotta...
Well, we're going to have to reach out to Liquid Death next as a potential sponsor, since I reached out to Blue Chew.
Yeah.
No fucking way, dude.
We were joking about it yesterday when we did an episode, and literally on my way home, his wife texted me a screenshot of how to contact Blue Chew to become a partner, and it was like,
I don't remember what podcast it was. It was with Spencer there, and you guys were talking about Blue Chew. It was like, oh, sponsored by Blue Chew or whatever, and I don't remember what fucking show it was, but
it became
you
a
guys
running
talking
gag.
about fucking Blue Chew.
Yeah.
I was like, nice.
So it was
with us and Yag.
Yeah, on the time travel one, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then it's been a running joke. I think we've mentioned it in almost every single one we've done now.
We have like two tropes that always come up. It's Blue Chew and psychedelics.
Yeah.
Nice.
Imagine doing psychedelics on Blue Chew.
You're just like, I don't... Bro! Look at the colors!
My hard-ass cock is swirly colors.
That is gnarly, dude. Look at... Bong! Anyway.
If we're reaching for other potential sponsors, fucking Buffalo Trace. If you guys are listening to this, Buffalo Trace.
I like Buffalo Trace.
I do too.
Yep.
It's like
That's my shit, dude.
the America's oldest distillery or something like that.
It's been around a while. They have a lot of different, like, I guess branches of other shit. Like they have Eagle Rare, fucking Blanton's, Stag Junior. Yeah, they have a lot of other things besides just Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is like their kind of, I don't want to say like,
That's their Jack Daniels number 7.
right? Yeah, like, Buffalo Trace is really good, but then you got fucking Blanton's. That's my all-time favorite bourbon.
Preston had me rolling. A show that I really loved that went straight downhill was Westworld.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
I've never seen Westworld.
It's a really good show for like season 1 and 2, and then it... Admittedly, I didn't finish season 3, but by the end of 2, I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
let's get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, the first 2 were really super intriguing until they got out into the real world, and it was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Go back to the West.
Go back to the fucking Westworld, the amusement park.
Yeah.
So, just for context, it's a show where people pay like a shitload of money to go into Westworld, and it's basically like a Wild West theme park, but it's inhabited by all these robots, and you can do whatever you want to these robots. So, like, literally, you can
They're like
murder 'em,
cyborgs
you
that
can-
look just like people, and they're acting out characters like a video game.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But you can, like, I
They're
don't know, like, go in there
NPCs.
and, like, rape these robots and murder people and carry out your darkest fantasies, I guess, in this Wild West town.
Damn.
Side note, how would you like to be the guy who has to clean out the female robots? They make
so,
a
like-
joke about that in season 1.
Yeah. Just like a pressure washer.
She's like, this one's so full, I'm surprised she didn't explode.
Damn.
I can't remember the line, but it was pretty fucked up, but entertaining at the same time. No, that's a good show, though. Recommend.
Yeah.
But stop after season 2.
Yeah. And then that's kind of where fucking the kid from Breaking Bad gets into the show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, I can't fucking stand that guy.
Yeah, me neither, bitch.
Bitch! Like, I tried watching Breaking Bad, and by everybody's account, they're like, oh, you have to stick through it till, like, season 3. I'm like, why would I want to bore through 2 seasons of a show that's fucking boring to finally get to the good stuff. Like, if you can't be good off the bat, don't bother, kind of thing. So I never really got all the way through Breaking Bad. But the scenes that he's in, I'm like, God, this guy is miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of shows, though, like, the first season, for most shows, is kind of, you gotta fucking just get through it.
Yeah.
The Office, for example.
Office, Parks and Rec.
Oh, dude, the first seasons are fucking just... You gotta suffer through them, dude.
I started watching The Office initially, like from the first season, and I didn't really... I was like, why does everybody like this show?
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it for a while, and then I came back and just started it like season 4 or something like that, and then watched all the way to the end, and then went back and watched the first season up until where I'd caught up. But same thing with Parks and Rec. Everybody was talking about it, and so I watched like the first couple episodes and was like, the show is dumb.
Yeah.
And so I just skipped to the second season and watched from there, and then went back. I don't know why that makes more sense for me to do that, but I don't know. I think that after all the characters are more established, they are just free to write them doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I think when the actors kind of more inhabit their character, after
Right.
a while, it becomes much easier to watch.
Yeah.
And even with like Sons of Anarchy, you know, you can tell in season 1 everybody's kind of trying to find their footing, but by like season 3, like Charlie Hunnam is fucking Jax.
Yeah.
And Ron Perlman is fucking Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are those people. They're not just like having those, you know, what's your motivation kind of moments.
Yeah.
And I think that does help. But at the same time, you've got to grab my attention early.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're season 1, if I have to like dredge through it, I'm probably not going back for seconds.
Yeah.
Well, some of these shows, like, so season 1's the pilot, you know, it's what I guess makes the producers like, yeah, we want to carry on with this show.
Yeah, selling the show,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But a lot of these season 1s, you're like, how the fuck did this show ever make it, dude? Off of this season 1, you're like, this shouldn't have gone, you know? But they somehow make it, and they continue on until, you know, they're great shows that everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
But that season 1, you watch that and you're like,
I don't
this is
know.
ass.
There's a few shows that I've watched that had an amazing season 1. The Walking Dead, for example.
Yeah.
Season 1 was just 6 episodes. They were really short, and you're just introducing all these characters. But it was so palatable because of the way it was done. And especially at the time before, like, because that really kicked off the zombie craze that went on for like 8 years too long. But that season 1 was so good that you were like, dude, when is season 2 coming out?
Yeah.
And then you had all the problems with the production and all that. And then you started seeing that decline in quality. But I feel like something like that where you start out smaller, where you go, yeah, we're only going to do 5 or 6, maybe 7 episodes. We're going to film all of it at once, and we're going to drop all of it at once, and just see if people actually like it. That's when they kind of gauge, okay, yeah, people love this show.
Yeah.
Let's keep making them. But at some of these other shows where they do it old school, where they just drop a pilot, and then they, you know, test it out and they put it on TV, and people go, yeah, this sucks. Well, you didn't get the chance to really flesh it out. It could have been a really good show, but your pilot episode sucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I hardly watch, so I don't have actual, like, regular TV or cable or anything. So everything that I watch is just off of, like, Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon.
Hmm.
So I don't get, like, the shows that are on regular network TV until after they've
Run their course.
and then they put them on those streaming services. But, like, I think it's different for a lot of the shows that are on those streaming platforms because they just give them the money to film the whole season first, and then they drop the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that they're a little bit freer to, like, The Boys on Amazon. Like, they just fucking ran with it.
You know, and that kind of goes back to that episode of the week thing, because, like, the first 2 seasons of The Boys was, like, I could be totally wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure the first season just dropped. All of it dropped at once. Because I remember going to work on no sleep because I binged the whole fucking thing in one night. And then season 2, I want to say it was like you got the first half of the season, and then it left at that cliffhanger for the mid-season finale, and then they dropped the other half later. And then season 3 was episode of the week with a mid-season break. Again, fucking hate that. But dude, have you watched The Boys, Preston?
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Bruh.
Good?
That's one that I recommend you legit carve out some time and just sit down and watch it. Because season 1 is fucking bananas.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in your building, and this was years ago when it came out, and Stuart was like, have you watched The Boys? So I was like, I saw a trailer. I might get to watch it. He's like, dude, watch the first 5 minutes. If you're not hooked in that first 5 minutes, don't bother watching the rest.
Yeah.
And you watch it, and you know what happens in that first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you go, what the fuck just happened? I have to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, crack addict that shit.
Yeah. That's where I think that, like I said, with these networks like that and like Squid Games and stuff like they already know they're going to make this whole season, so they start off just by trying to grab
Mm-hmm.
you, whereas they're not trying to develop characters or show where these characters could go in the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
They already have the whole thing in the can and then structure it however they want to.
You know, I gotta say, of like all the streaming services that are putting out shows, Amazon puts out the best quality shows.
Yeah.
Because you've got The Boys, Invincible, which is also a really good show, Reacher, that Jack Ryan series,
Mm-hmm.
which, holy shit, is so good.
Yeah.
That's on my list, actually.
I love
Never
that
seen
one.
it.
So, we've seen in our lifetime, 3 or 4 different actors play Jack Ryan. You had Harrison Ford, Alec Baldwin, Ben Affleck, Chris Pine. I want to say there's one more, but I could be wrong.
It's the dude from The Office,
Yeah,
Jim.
and John Krasinski comes
Yeah.
in and he fucking destroys all of those guys.
Yeah.
Like, he makes it look so effortless.
So, like, that show has been on my list because John Krasinski from The Office, like, I like Jim. I'm more of a Dwight fan, I'm going to say, but I see him as Jack Reacher. I'm like, shit, dude, I like him as an actor. I should probably...
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, sorry.
Yeah.
I should probably watch this show because I like John Krasinski as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
But it is on my list. I haven't seen it. It's one of those things I just need to get to.
It's definitely worth it. Did you ever watch the movie with him, 13 Hours, about the Benghazi thing?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, well then, my next comment's kind of no. He basically plays the same character,
Okay.
like in the same style, but he's kind of an unassuming guy, and he doesn't. You don't look at him in the same way you would look at like Schwarzenegger in the 80s and go, okay, he's probably lethal as fuck. You go, he looks like a normal dude.
Yeah.
And then he starts getting into doing things, and you're like, this guy is way more capable than Schwarzenegger could ever pretend to be.
Yeah.
Because he uses this much more than, his muscles.
Yeah.
And then when he has to, he's very convincing. Like, he looks like he could fuck a guy up.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, he portrays the character pretty fucking well. Just for that whole unassuming badass factor, I think. So it's like a surprise to see him doing these things, but super believable that he is capable of doing those things.
Absolutely. And he's actually a really fucking good actor.
Yeah.
Like, in The Quiet Place, those 2 movies, so admittedly I didn't watch the second one, but the first one, it helps that he directed it, and he helped write it and everything, but he's so good in that movie that it's like, I hate the idea that he gets pigeonholed into just The Office when he's so much more capable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Reacher, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
I think that some of the dialogue is kind of corny, but fuck, I love that series.
Right? He's just, you talk about John Krasinski being unassuming. Like, you assume Alan Richardson can just fuck people up. because he's fucking massive.
What is he, like 6'6" or something like that?
I think in real life he's only like 6'2" or 6'3".
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I don't think he's that tall, but he is huge.
Yeah. He's a fucking monster, that show. Which is like, I don't know, there's some scenes where in the first season where he's fighting those cartel guys, the Mexican dudes, and they're like half his size and they're whooping his ass.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. That guy would just hold their top of their head like he'd be a little kid.
Well, there's that scene in season 1 where I can't remember the girl's name, but she gives him the 50 caliber Desert Eagle, and he's holding it, and it's like, that doesn't look that big in his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge fucking gun.
Yeah.
And then he walks outside and he shoots one round, and it's like, it looks like you or me holding a Glock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, that looks like a normal size gun.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that guy's a monster. I hate when he takes his shirt off in that series, too.
Yeah, same, because it makes me feel like a piece of shit.
I was like, fuck, I gotta do some crunches or something.
Like, his abs have more muscle
His abs
and
got
mass
abs.
than my fucking arms.
His abs have been doing sit-ups. And his abs are doing fucking curls and shit.
That is good. Yeah, Amazon definitely, they don't put out as many original shows as like Netflix does, but everything they put out is usually pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I liked their Lord of the Rings series that they put out. What was it called? Can't remember what it's called, but
Lord of the Rings and the Quest for More Money.
yeah. I watched that, and then there was a series on there called Wheel in Time. It's kind of a fantasy show like that. I watched that too. It's pretty good.
So what's like your favorite Netflix offering for a show? Not something that was created for another network and put on Netflix. Something Netflix has come out with themselves.
Squid Games, probably.
Dude, I can't
Or, there's a fucking, it's another Korean show called We Are All Dead. I think that's what it's called. But it's like these group of kids that are in this, kind of like a university or a private school. And there's a zombie apocalypse that happens, and so they're stuck in this school or whatever, trying to fight off zombies. It's pretty good. But they're like the Korean fast, wild zombies. If you haven't seen it, if you like that kind of shit, it's a pretty good series.
I can't even think of any Netflix originals that I've...
So I just pulled it up on my phone. I already had mine picked, but I was trying to think of what some of the other actual originals for Netflix were. Because I was like, oh shit, I don't know if this one was made for a network and then dropped on Netflix. But anyway, the number one on the list is actually my favorite, was Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Which admittedly kind of got bland toward the end. But like that first 2 seasons were just good. And naturally an ad pops up on my phone. That's cool. Even after I just exited out 2 others. So there's that. The Crown, BoJack Horseman, classic. Squid Game, Orange is the New Black.
That was made for Netflix? I thought it was an HBO series.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, apparently it's made for Netflix. A bunch of garbage. Ozark. That was a good show.
Ozark was a good show. And for some reason, like, man, the wife is, like, kind of sexy. In the weirdest way.
Yeah. She's like MILF hot.
Yeah.
She always has been, though.
Yeah.
Even when she was younger, she was, just kind of MILF hot.
Yeah.
Here's a classic that we've adapted because of Scott is I Think You Should Leave. Just look at the screen cap for that. The hot dog episode. So we like binged that show over the span of a couple of days at work on break because the episodes are only like 15 minutes. But
Yeah.
that show is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I've only seen a few of them, but we watched the one where he's like, they're at dinner and that guy keeps eating his burger. Like the professor.
That's a good looking burger.
That was pretty good.
Yes, we quote it a lot. Not really. Oh, Gracie and Frankie was actually a pretty fun show.
Yeah.
13 Reasons Why. Dark as shit.
Yeah.
Big Mouth.
Dude. Every fucking season that drops, immediately I start watching it. I don't know why. Because it's like... it's a really stupid show.
Yeah.
But it's entertaining, you know?
Isn't there a
Yeah.
spin-off now of the...
Fucking Maury and,
It's like the sex demon guys are in an
it's-
office building or something like that?
it's basically like the fuck is it?
The Puberty
Puberty
The
Monster.
Puberty Monsters. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a spin-off. That one's pretty good. Yeah, if you haven't seen it.
I haven't watched that one. Like, I watched
Yeah.
the first 2 seasons of Big Mouth, and my fucking favorite line from that show was when the kid was staying the night at his friend's house, and he's sleeping in, like, another bed, and the Puberty Monster, like, finally convinces him. He's like, just jack off. Just do
Yeah.
it right where you're at. And then he does it. He's like, that's so much better. What do I do about the mess? And the Puberty Monster goes, lay in it, you filthy pig.
It's a good show, dude.
It is in the PE coach, the gym teacher.
Gym teacher.
How do you guys hold a fork? Like a pencil, right? Just stupid shows like that
Yeah.
are totally made like irreverent of everything. That it's just like, you know what? This is 100% fun. Don't take anything seriously.
Yeah.
The plot doesn't even matter.
But
Just
it is
throw
like,
jokes.
it is very like, I don't know, man. You watch the show and just can relate to feeling that way when you were going through like puberty and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stupid situations that you created in your brain and then looking at it on TV and like, okay, well, I wasn't retarded back then.
I mean, I'm not the
I mean, I
only
was
one?
retarded, but
Well, you are, you know, when you're going through puberty, you already feel like a fucking alien anyway.
right.
So having a show that makes you kind of look back at it in a more comedic sense of going, yeah, it was weird and everybody goes through it, but it's hilarious now
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it happened to me almost 30 years ago. So you can look back at it with that same sense of like irreverence that, yeah, it was funny,
Yeah.
even though at the time it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was when I watched that, when that show first came out. I think I binge watched the whole episode or the whole season in one night. As soon as I was aware of it, you know.
Yeah.
I think me and Kara both watched it. Just fucking binged it.
Yeah.
Binging is such a weird thing because of how off guard we get caught with it. Like you'll find a series and let's say it's like 8 o'clock at night and you got to work the next day and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna check this show out. So the first episode's only like 40 minutes, whatever. And next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're like, God, one more episode. I know I'm gonna hate everything tomorrow, but I want to watch one more episode. Then you watch it and then you have to get up and go to work the next day. Then you come home from work and you're dead ass tired, but you're like, fuck, I got 4 episodes left. I'm just gonna watch it.
I gotta knock these out.
Yeah.
It's almost like putting in work on it. Oh, I gotta at least get 2 in today, and then I only have 2 left tomorrow.
It's so funny how we can just be like, dude, I have to watch 2 episodes tonight when I get home. But you can't be like, oh, I have to do 20 push-ups when I get home. It's so weird how we could just like justify watching this show versus everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been. So I just recently made my kids watch The Social Dilemma like last Friday or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it before when it first came out a couple of years ago. And so I had them sit down and watch it. And so we've been consciously like trying not to be on screens all the time and stuff like that, and it's hard, man. It really is. Like, so it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go lay down and get ready for bed, and I'm gonna put on a show and then get sucked in and watch like 4 episodes of some dumb shit that I should be going to sleep.
You know, and I kind of have my own dilemma with sleeping, like, because of the way our schedule is. There's some days I'm just dead ass tired, and then there's other days where I just can't fucking sleep. But it used to be simple when I worked like straight days, where if I was going to put on like a comfort movie or a comfort show, I wouldn't fall asleep because I'd just be laying there watching it. But if I put on something I wanted to watch, like a new movie that just came out or whatever, I would literally be like, fuck it, I'm going to watch this movie. And 10 minutes into it, I'm out.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, no matter what I put on, I'm awake watching it. So it's... I've gotten better about just putting like the sleep timer on my TV.
Yeah.
But still, there's times you just put on that comfort show and you're just like, yeah, I feel like a little baby, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to fall asleep to Harry Potter like every night.
I still do.
Mostly because, like, even when it goes to like the screensaver after the movie's done playing, if you're watching it on DVD, it's still just got that like the Harry Potter theme. And it's just like a fairy tale. But you wake up and hear that going in the background, and you're just like, oh, I can still go to sleep. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I still got an hour.
Yeah. I quote that shit to my daughter all the time because one weekend we watched like all of them together. And obviously she's, 7, so she doesn't remember any of it. But I quote it all the time, and she's like, what is that from? And I'm like, it's Harry Potter. Because every time she picks up a book, I'm like, turn to page 394. She's like, stop saying that. No, I'll never stop being funny.
There's a guy I keep coming across videos on Facebook or whatever else, TikTok, and he perfectly imitates Snape, and I'm just like, dude. He talks to his wife in his voice, and I'm just like,
oh, I know who
that's
you're talking
golden,
about.
dude.
Yeah.
He also does like Bo Rat and stuff like that, but like he imitates Snape so fucking perfectly. I'm just like, that's awesome, dude.
Dude, I think I know exactly who you're talking about, and he's always throwing Harry Potter quotes at his wife. And like he comes in with his nose taped up like this.
Severus.
Yeah.
I've seen that guy also. So are there any things that you guys follow like that on like TikTok or Facebook or something like that?
So it's funny because that's kind of become a way that I watch a series as well, is like through TikTok. Is you'll find some people have their kind of little niche thing that they do, like the Harry Potter guy, where he's always doing like Harry Potter quotes in a hilarious way to his wife. That's a series to me because he has so much content, and then it's regularly posted.
Right.
That's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And another one is Olive Garden, the TikTok weather girl. If you haven't seen that one, go ahead and check it out.
Yeah.
Because she's always like, reporting from Virginia, this is Olive, your TikTok weather girl. It got really cold last night. Let's go see if there's frost on the cars. And as she's passing the car, she's got her tit hanging out. So you see it in the reflection of the window. That brightened my day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice tits.
Nice tits.
Was that a tit?
You know, one of my favorite series, by far and away, Ancient Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get wrapped up in watching 17 hours of Ancient Aliens.
Dude.
Easy, dude.
Easily.
Sucks you in.
That and the Ancient Apocalypse. I think I've watched that
Ooh.
probably 5 or 6 times. Still waiting to see if he's going to do another season. Hopefully.
Still waiting to see if there's going to be another apocalypse.
Well,
Fingers crossed.
so he's written a few books throughout, like back in the 90s, and I think his first book came out in like 1992 or 1993 or something like that. Talking about his theories on like ancient apocalypse stuff. his second book was along the lines of Terence McKenna's books on like use of psychedelics throughout the ages of like ancient peoples and how they use them to further their own understanding of technology. So he was on one of the interviews I saw him on, he was talking about how if he gets to a second season, he's going to do the second season will be mostly about like the use of psychedelics in these ancient cultures and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that he gets funding for a second season.
I hope so too, but a lot of his stuff is still kind of viewed as fringe.
Yeah.
And defies a lot of what basic logic we're taught in school. So he already kind of has the deck stacked against him. I really think the one thing that's helped him the most is when he went on Joe Rogan's podcast and talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because immediately you're reaching an audience that otherwise you probably would not have paid attention, because it's weird the way that Joe Rogan's audience like fuels into anything he's interested in. But if they had just dropped that on TV, most people wouldn't have paid any attention to it.
Yeah.
Which is another kind of topic with series, is podcast. And I think we all have like a podcast series we listen to. What do you got?
I listen to a lot of stuff you should know. Especially,
Dave-Inci's Code.
Yeah, and Dave-Inci's Code, you know.
Okay, that better be your number one.
Dave-Inci's Code, number 1. Stuff you should know, number 2. Theories of the Third Kind, number 3. Stuff you should know. They talk about, I mean, literally everything under the fucking sun. I've learned about fucking octopus and platypus and fucking everything.
All the pusses.
All the pusses.
All the puss.
All the pusses. At work, it's like you're sitting there. I mean, our job, you know, it's a whole lot of kind of sitting on your own, just staring into fucking nothing, alright? I listen to a lot of podcasts to kind of keep me...
Your brain
keep my fucking brain moving, because otherwise I'm going to, try not to fall asleep, but stuff you should know, they talk about all sorts of shit. They dive into, like, all sorts of different topics, and I learn all sorts of cool shit at work.
What'd you learn about octopuses? Octopi.
So they
Octopussy.
have webbed feet for swimming. They're poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
They're I can't remember if it's a platypus or if it's octopus.
Octopus.
Sorry, I'm talking.
Platypus is venomous.
Sorry, I'm talking about platypus.
Some octopi.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Octopuses don't have feet.
Octopi have 2 hearts.
Mm-hmm.
They're incredibly fucking smart. So it actually kind of makes me like guilty for eating them, because they're super fucking smart, and you're like, dude, I shouldn't be fucking eating these things.
You shouldn't eat them because it's like chewing on the sole of a fucking Chuck Taylor shoe.
I'm not a big fan of octopus. Like, we went to
Korean barbecue.
Yeah, the Korean barbecue place, and had octopus, and I don't know if it was overcooked or if it was just because it was octopus in general. I fucking don't like it. I've eaten it a few times. I'm not a fan.
I think anything like that, you have to like. You're eating an octopus in Utah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think no matter what, it's going to be like chewing on rubber.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they're incredibly smart. You know, they can camouflage themselves into different, you know, their surroundings and stuff
And
like
they're
that.
not from this planet.
I don't think they are, dude. I think they're fucking aliens.
Yeah.
Honestly. They've
I've
been
seen
around.
a lot of shows that talk about how there is no
Their genetic code is not related to any other animal.
On
They're
the planet.
fucking different, dude.
So
Even squid, which are also cephalopods, they're so unrelated to squid.
Yeah.
And that's the closest thing to it, or even jellyfish.
Yeah.
And they share almost no genomes.
Mm-hmm.
Bananas. Yeah, they're definitely from
Aliens,
another
dude.
planet.
aliens. That's why they're so delicious.
No, that's why they are like chewing on rubber. They're from another planet with a different
What if
density.
we tried smoking their fucking
Lymph nodes?
Lymph nodes, yeah.
So that was that was a running joke from the episode we did yesterday. Dulce Base, have you ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
There's allegedly a secret base in Dulce, New Mexico, hidden inside the mesa. And it's ran by humans and aliens. And several of the species of aliens that work there allegedly use some of the human glands as, like, to get high.
Oh.
But all the cattle mutilations in the nearby area, every single one of them were missing lymph nodes. So now it's like a running joke for us to be like smoking lymph nodes, dude. We're gonna have to get like a picture of us being just like shit face hammered and like, you know, doing this pose.
Lymph node wasted.
Lymph node wasted, dude.
Lymph node wasted. So Pam and Angela from The Office, they have like their actors have
Lymph nodes.
They have their own podcast, and they talk about The Office.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about like kind of behind the scenes of like episodes and stuff like that. They'll watch an episode and then they'll talk about it on their podcast, and so you can kind of watch the series with them and then listen to their episode of that or that episode, and you get like behind the scenes stuff about it. Really fucking cool podcast, especially if you're into The Office. It talks about some things behind the scenes, and I kind of dove into that. Like the 7th time I watched that show through, I was like, all right, I'm going to watch this show with the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll watch an episode and then listen to that podcast on that episode, and you get behind the scenes stuff, and they talk about their experiences while filming that episode. And
So it's like a DVD commentary.
That's cool.
yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Angela, she's a total fucking bitch in the show. I fucking hated her. As a person, like actress, she's actually pretty fucking cool.
I always assume that about all actors who play like shitty villainous roles, that they're probably actually the better people.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
What podcast are you down on? Podcast series, specifically, I should say.
Lately, I've been fucking consuming the shit out of like the Y-Files and random stuff, mostly doing research on different subjects that we're going to talk about. So I haven't really been following anything lately. But yeah, the Y-Files, the one, what's his name? The Mile High.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
They do like they have one that's like a true crime series, and then one that's like paranormal shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen to like BuzzFeed Unsolved, just because I like those guys. I think they're fucking hilarious. But yeah, I listen to more random stuff in like veins of like paranormal shit. So I'll just like look up paranormal, and it'll be like 30 videos or podcasts, and then just like start from the top and go through like. I'll have to skip like 5 or 6 because I can't stand people's voices, or like, or they mention something that I know is fucking bullshit, and they're like, nope, skip.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm kind of all over the place with that stuff, with podcasts in general.
Yeah, the Y-Files is definitely one of the most bingeable shows on YouTube, and as a podcast as well. I prefer it on YouTube.
Me too.
Just because Hecklefish, when I first started watching that show, I was like, God, this fucking fish thing this bit is so annoying. But it grew on me so fast that it's like, if he took Hecklefish out of the show, I would hate the show.
Yeah.
It's just so good. But yeah.
Also, because I listen to it, so I'll usually listen to it on YouTube, but like, not watching.
Yeah.
So I'll be like walking around, like at the gym or something, and just have my phone in my pocket or like in the little cubby, and so I'm not watching the show. And so like, he'll be talking, and all of a sudden he'll just cut in, Hecklefish will cut in, so I'm not watching it and seeing that he's going to start talking. But like, it is a good comic relief. When I find myself laughing out loud at the gym and people looking at me funny, like I'm laughing at what they're doing.
It's funny. I'll watch that show on the TV in my room, and my daughter will be like, "The fish is so annoying." I'm like, "Get out." Yeah, have you watched the Y-Files?
No.
So it's a YouTube show and a podcast where he'll basically take kind of a more fringe topic. Like yesterday we talked about Dulce, New Mexico, the hidden base that I was just mentioning, and he does like a whole episode on that, but he breaks everything down in a much more factual manner than like we do. It's literally like reporting these details, and then at the end, if there's a way to debunk it, he debunks it, and if there's nothing, he'll say, yeah, I can't find a way to debunk it or anything. And he's very entertaining, he's very like well spoken, and his comic relief is literally a goldfish in a bowl that he calls Hecklefish. It's a really good show, and it's like your average episode is around a half an hour, and then some of them are closer to an hour. But if there's any kind of more out there topic that you want to look up, search the Y-Files first.
Yeah.
One of my favorite series that I listen to as a podcast is the No Sleep podcast.
That's the I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they have the No Sleep podcast, and then or Lights Out. Maybe it's Lights Out.
Yeah.
They have another one that's like a murder mystery.
and it's more fact based.
Yeah.
About real stories, but
Yeah.
No Sleep is all user generated, like scary stories and things like that. And they have actors come
Creepypastas.
on and
nice.
creepypastas, and they have actors come in and record the audio and the voices and actually act it out instead of just reading it off a page like this.
Nice. Yeah.
Where it's more of a storytelling thing. That's a really entertaining series. But that also got me into, wow. Siri just randomly talked.
Series?
Okay, so I'm going to put my phone up there. Literally nobody touched my phone, but Siri was just randomly like, uh-huh.
Maybe she thought you said Siri. When
Hey,
you
thanks,
said
government.
series.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, we talked about Dulce, eat shit. Sorry. You kind of got me more into it than No Sleep was the series of stories on Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Vato Cabrons.
Vato Cabrons. I bought a ranch in Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a consumable in terms of audio or visual, but people just make their own user-generated stories and upload them to Reddit. And there was one that he got me into that I didn't actually read it. I found a version on YouTube where somebody read the story out
really?
loud. Yeah. Which is a big no-no because those are still copyrighted stories, even
Yeah.
if they're on Reddit.
Gotcha.
But I listened to it through YouTube, and then I ended up subscribing to that guy's channel because he was just stealing everybody else's stories and reading them. And it was like, cool, this saves me so much time.
Yeah. So I was literally like fucking like 3 or 4 hours reading this Reddit post
Like this.
glued to my phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's funny enough is that was actually picked up by Netflix.
Was it really?
Yeah, so it was pre-COVID. They bought that story from the author, and they were going to make a TV series out of it, but then COVID hit, and they stalled those plans, but they own it now.
I wonder because I've been like, because it got to a point where it was like hadn't ended yet. The story hadn't ended, and so I was waiting. And I still like I'll look it up on my phone and like see if he's posted anything. And it's been like 4 years,
Oh.
but I kind of wondered what happened. It's a pretty captivating story.
So he did finish it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't read the last one.
Okay, so this is super weird. Like, right as soon as fucking Siri started talking, I got this massive ringing in my ear. I think I'm just crazy. Yeah.
On your right side,
Yeah.
the side that is facing Dugway.
Yeah.
We were talking about Dugway yesterday too.
Yeah. It's like from Archer, Tinnitus, You Are a Cruel Mistress. So yeah, what's a series you grew up with that didn't age very well?
Married with Children, maybe.
I don't know.
I like Married with Children. That was a good answer.
Yeah. I think if you watch them now, they're still fucking hilarious, but they don't... I mean, I can see how some people might be offended.
I could never understand the fact that Al never wanted to bang his wife.
Right?
I
Peggy was hot.
Even then, even if your wife's not hot, it's still your wife and you still want to bang her. I just never understood that concept. Did he have ED? Did he need Blue Chew?
Blue Chew.
Hashtag sponsor.
Blue Chew.
I think that we should do some Blue Chew commercials, just like golfing with Blue Chew, just like...
you go to try to
feeling down, bud? Here, take one of these.
You go to hit the ball and your 9-iron is just flaccid.
You just have your 9-iron on your shoulder and you're swinging with your...
After Blue Chew, I don't even need the 9-iron.
Just going to the batting cage.
All right, so we're filming these next week then, right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. If the weather's good. Sorry, I can't.
So many possibilities.
At this point, I'm going to be offended if Blue Chew doesn't, like, at least email me back at this point.
Yeah.
As much as we joke about it and talk about it. And now that you're a user of the product and you're happy with the results,
it's bonerific.
Bonerific. Hashtag bonerific.
Yeah. Don't steal that.
Oh my god.
They're just going to steal it and fucking not be a sponsor.
Not give you royalties.
So here's like my final closing question. Would you prefer to watch a long series or a movie?
I think a long series is definitely, like where I'm at right now in life, is better for me because I mainly watch shows at work.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm off work, I don't really watch them unless it's something that I'm like really fucking into, like Yellowstone. I watch that at home. I'm watching the Star Wars, the Clone Wars at home. But a lot of series I watch mainly at work when I'm on break. So series, I'd rather watch that because I can spread it out a lot more. Mm-hmm. Watch it while I'm on break. Whereas a movie, it's like, I might get a few breaks out of it, and then I got to find something else to watch. Whereas a series, I can really spread that out.
Consume in steps.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I love watching movies. I love going to the theater and watching movies. But I do really enjoy watching a series that's, maybe 10 episodes, an hour each, that they can really build a character and you can go on the ride with the character and not necessarily have to watch the whole thing all at once. Where a movie, like, if you chop it up into, like, say you got a 2-hour-long movie and you chop it up into 4 half-hour sessions of watching it, then it's kind of like you have to sit down and get readjusted to what you're watching and try to remember. Where a series is like, most of the time it is like it'll get to one point and then have a good stopping moment, and then okay, well, I can take watch this other part on the next break and still not be lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I like both of them, but I do I love going to the movies, but a good series is, I'll take that on a rainy day.
Fair. I'm definitely more of a movie guy. Like, I like a movie that's good. If it's 3 hours long, I'm totally okay with. But for the most part, like a good 2.5 hour movie, one and done. I finish that arc, that story, and I feel good about it. It's oftentimes hard for me to sit down and watch a TV series, and I don't know, maybe it's an ADHD thing or something like that, where it's like, if I hit any kind of like dry part, it's hard for me to stick with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if the series is really good, like a Sons of Anarchy or a Game of Thrones, or there's a couple others that I'm a huge fan of. But if they're like a really good series, yeah, dude, you got me just like stuck on the couch watching this shit for 12 hours straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're with shows though, like a series, you do tend to get more into a binge watching kind of
Yeah.
episode of it. You know, you're like, fuck, man, where
I
did
haven't showered in 2 days.
where'd the last 12 hours of my life go? You know, whereas a movie, 2.5, 3 hours in, it's over. You're like, okay, cool. I still have the rest of my day to do things. Whereas a series,
Yeah.
if you really dive into that and get sucked into it, you're throwing away a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's true, and I also kind of have weird, like, commitment issues with movies and TV. So if, like, I'm watching a movie, if I'm halfway through and I go, this movie fucking sucks, I'll grit and bear and get through it. Versus if I get halfway through a season of a TV series and I go, this fucking sucks, I will completely disconnect and just be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I do that a lot too. Like, but I'll start a movie and be like, if I'm like 25 minutes into the movie and I find myself pulling my phone out and just like
doom scrolling.
Yeah, doom scrolling on my phone. Like, why am I watching this? This movie is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch.
Unless the intention is to watch a movie that is purposely dumb.
There are moments like that.
Yeah. Like, the movie you sent me yesterday.
Gentlemen Broncos.
Yeah, I didn't watch it last night, but I'm planning to watch it tonight because I'm just like, you look at a movie like that and you go, this is actual purposeful disconnecting your brain
Yeah.
just to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's fine, but like you're saying, 20 minutes into it and you're kind of bored, that movie sucks.
Yeah. And there are a lot of movies that I watched purposefully because they look stupid as fuck. Like we talked about on the horror movies thing, Velocipaster and Killer Sushi and The Sofa and shit like that. And it's like, that's the point, is like, I want to see, because a lot of them have like an interesting concept of like, the recliner is a monster that's eating people. That's funny. Like, I haven't seen anybody do that, or Llamageddon, or the llamas are like zombies and start eating people. It's funny.
So tertiary to that, I forgot of another Netflix series that was a horror series that I forgot to bring up, was Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch that, Preston? No? So, it was good. It was entertaining. It never quite lived up to the build-up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it never had like these big scary payoff moments. It was just these more creepy moments.
There was a few jump scares.
Yeah, but for the most part, it was kind of like everybody was talking about how terrifying it was, and it really wasn't. It was a good show, but not like the horror icon that people made it out to be.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Ju-On? I think it was on Hulu. But it was the... what is that? The Grudge?
Yeah.
So it was The Grudge, but it was a series based on because The Grudge was supposedly based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a series, like a 10-part series of The Grudge story and the house.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty good. Like I said, I think that the Koreans are fucking killing it on horror movies right now.
Well, I mean, Train to Busan.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah, it's funny too, and I talked about this in another episode, where anytime there's anything kind of like haunted or ghost related from Asian countries, it's like the same depiction of the same kid, and it all looks like the kid from The Grudge every fucking time.
Yeah.
They're just like super white skin with dark eyes and dirt under their fingernails and shit like that, and it's like, I've seen this movie,
Yeah. That's what I liked about on the American Horror Stories series. That
was a damn good series.
I think it was like the 4th season or something like that.
Is it
Roanoke?
Roanoke,
Yeah. And but they had the haunted house, but they went through every genre of like haunted house, like the Asian ghosts and the axe murderer, slasher, spirits and stuff. Like they had like all of them intertwined throughout the whole series. I thought that was one of the best seasons of that show.
Yeah, that was my favorite season of that show.
Yeah.
Granted, I didn't watch all of them all the way through, but that one was good.
Yeah, I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons, and then when they got to like the clown one, I couldn't watch it anymore.
Yeah, I kind of tuned out by then too.
And this last one, my kids were watching it with like Kim Kardashian and shit.
Gross.
Yeah. They watch the Kardashians, and I'm just like, you guys are getting dumber by the minute.
All right, final question. And I already said final question, but we're going to do it again anyway. All-time favorite series. Any genre, any platform. Doesn't matter if it's podcast, YouTube, TV, Netflix. All-time favorite.
So that's really hard for me to answer because I have several shows that I've seen that have like really just kind of stuck with me, and I can't really pick a favorite. As far as like background noise, I'm just gonna have to say The Office. I can't say it's my favorite because it's not something that I'm just gonna like always think about or always want to watch. You know, it's just it's my background show. Okay, I love Yellowstone. Just the storyline of it, I really, really got into that. But I also have like just like it depends on what I'm going through in life or whatever. Like, hey, I'm gonna watch fucking Star Wars right now, which I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna say fucking Star Wars episode like series are my favorite right now because it's what I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna say a favorite, I'm gonna go with fucking Office because it's always there for me. You know.
Yeah. I could get that. I mean, I think a lot of people probably have the same feelings about that. Me personally, I would have to say probably Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Just because I have adopted so many of their stupid sayings into my everyday life all the time. Like you said, like I call everybody Bud. And in the morning, how's it going? Oh, not so bad. You? Like, that's just how I answer now. So I would say Letterkenny just because I've noticed that has influenced my life on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
That's what I find myself quoting the most.
So I know I talked about Family Guy, and that my perception towards Family Guy has kind of changed in the past couple of years, where I don't watch it nearly as much, and it still holds like a big place in my heart. But my actual favorite show now is Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
And I'm sorry, like you could turn it on as background noise, but if you sit and pay attention to it, you find yourself going like, "Holy shit, that is so brilliantly fucking written."
Yeah.
And then they just throw all this toilet humor and all these other different things into it that it's just like the writers have to be fucking stoned all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I never watched that show. I knew of it. I'd seen clips of it and everything. And then I had a tech sergeant. It was like one of the lead techs with my job. His office was just decked out in Rick and Morty shit. Like he had Szechuan sauce, he had like little, I don't know, like fucking dolls or whatever, like
plushy,
like
Plumbus dolls or
fucking,
something.
I don't know, doll things of fucking Rick and Morty and stuff. I'm like, I guess I should really fucking watch this show. He would quote it all the time. I'm like, I don't get that reference, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and then I started watching, and I was like, dude, this is fucking good.
It's so good because it's not just like super basic humor. Like you could tell they actually have incredibly intelligent people writing for it.
Yeah.
But then they mix it in with people with the lowest form of humor, and they blend it together, and it's so good. Like the fucking episode with Nimbus. You started a war, Rick? No, we're sorry. I totally just like went different there. He's like, yeah, I started a war when I D-Dayed their mermaid puss. What? I can't help but watch that show, and just like every single episode, I'm laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
And even shows like Family Guy or South Park or The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, you could watch certain episodes and no laughs. It's just dry. But Rick and Morty gets me every fucking time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember watching the first episode for the first time, like when it first came out years ago, and I was fucking stoned as fuck. And it's the episode...
Smoking lymph nodes, huh?
Yeah. It's the episode where they go to that one place to get those seeds, and he has to transfer them up his butt.
Yeah.
And so he gets Morty to fucking shove those seeds up his ass because his ass is too loose. He can't hold on to them anymore. And they have to sneak him through the space customs, and they end up getting to a gun battle with all the praying mantis aliens. And I was laughing so hard I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Crying, laughing, just like slobber coming out of my mouth. Laughing my ass off. And I was at my buddy's house, and there was a bunch of people there, and they were like mixing and playing cards. And I was the only one over there watching TV. By the end of the episode, everybody had left the other room and standing around just fucking dying watching this Rick and Morty. But yeah.
I remember everybody trying to talk me into it, and I had watched an episode or two, and I was super like nonplussed about it. I was like, I don't get it. It's not that fucking funny. And maybe it was my mental state at the time, or just like sleep deprived, or whatever it was, that I just couldn't get into it. But I remember my boys were like, Dad, have you watched Rick and Morty? And I was like, yeah, I'm not into it. They're like, no, watch this episode. And I watched that episode, and the whole time I was like, I don't want them to know I think it's hilarious. And then after that, I was just like, I was hooked.
Yeah.
Well, shows like that, they don't really... You definitely lose brain cells, you know?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, Family Guy, fucking, Rick and Morty, South Park, like, you don't gain anything from it. But there's so much, like, comedy in it. You're like,
I
dude,
think you
this is
actually
fucking
do
worth
gain
it.
something from Rick and Morty, because there is a lot of like science jargon,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of very self-aware, like fourth wall breaking humor in it.
Yeah.
That you do take away from that a little bit more versus, Peter and Lois arguing about,
Fucking Mark Harmon.
Mac Hammond.
Mac Hammond.
Is this not the greatest actor who ever lived, Mac Hammond?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun to watch TV.
Yeah.
It is.
I would definitely recommend, if you haven't watched The Solar Opposites, if you're into Rick and Morty, watch Solar Opposites also.
Also a good one.
Did you watch Boba Fett? That series?
I was avoiding talking about that.
I'm sorry.
So, I loved Mandalorian, season 1 and 2. Boba Fett I had high hopes for, because that was a character in Star Wars that was so like over-filleted for so many years.
Yeah.
People would be like, oh dude, I love Boba Fett in the Star Wars movies. Like, why? He did nothing. Luke Skywalker, sorry, not even Luke Skywalker. Han Solo took him out by bumping into him in Return of the Jedi. He's not that fucking cool, guys. And then so I thought, okay, when this show comes out, I'm going to get a new point of view. I'm going to learn why he was so cool and so badass. And then you watch the show and you're like, this show fucking sucks. And then the back half of that season is basically The Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah. They had to bring the fucking Mandalorian in to save that show, which is like...
And then the whole Mandalorian plot line basically just said fuck you to the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Which was so heartfelt and so endearing and so powerful. And then they were just like, oh, no. We got to bring Grogu back because the fans love it. Like, dude, I love the Mandalorian more than Grogu.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was so let down by that whole fucking show.
I was so excited for that show to come out because in the movies they're like, oh, Boba Fett's like such a badass, like he kicks ass, takes names, and then he consistently gets his ass kicked. In the Boba Fett series, you're like, this dude's a fucking pussy. Why am I?
Literally,
I was extremely fucking let down with that series.
Well, I could never get it growing up because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, right? I'll fucking challenge your brother. Let's go.
All right.
But like growing up, people talked about how cool Boba Fett was, and it's like, what did he do that was so cool? And then you go back and you watch the original trilogy. Okay, he wasn't in A New Hope. He was in Empire Strikes Back, but all he did was basically walk with Han Solo frozen in carbonite to get on his ship.
Yeah.
That's it. And then in Return of the Jedi, when they're on the barge, to get ready to drop Han Solo and Luke and Chewie into the Sarlacc, he's like the most hapless fucking idiot. He might as well be not even have a name.
Yeah.
He's just an extra. Mm-hmm. And literally, like, Han Solo goes, Boba Fett, where? And then fucking Boba Fett, like, his jetpack malfunctions, and it's like, why do people care about this character? I don't get it. But yeah, then you watch a show, and it's like, the actor who plays Boba Fett also played Jango Fett. So credence there. But the dude's like in his 60s. He's a little overweight. He's a little chubby. He's not. I think he's phoning in the whole fucking performance, and he's just hanging out with sand people. And sand people are the worst part of Star Wars. I'm sorry. It just you keep hoping that show is going to get better, and it never does.
I really like Mandalorian. That's another show that like I really dove into and obsessed over. And then when it ended, I'm like, what the fuck did I do with my life? But I think the final season of that, like, I think they really did that show justice of, like, how they closed it out. It's like, yep, Grogu goes off to become a Mandalorian. I think they closed that show out really well.
Admittedly, I haven't watched, like, the last 4 or 5 episodes of Season 3, but I knew what happened.
Yeah. They really brought a good end to it. And they closed it off on a good note where you're not, like, wanting more. You're not, like... It wasn't super dragged out. We're like, fuck, man, this show should have ended, like, forever ago, Like, I think they finished it at the right time. Just like you were saying earlier, like, oh, shows, even if they're good, shouldn't go till, after Season 5. Yeah, it makes sense. Because after a while, it just drags out, it just gets kind of boring, and... I think they finished Mandalorian off at a good point. Yeah,
you come to have like a little bit of disdain for shows that you love so much that when they go too long, you're like, yeah, Dexter would have been way cooler if they cut like 4 seasons off of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Good time.
Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.